Hi there, it's me again, Rob Vlock, author of the Sven Carter series of middle grade novels. I'm speaking to you today from my writing studio, also known as the Shoebox, to share what I've learned over the years as an author. I've developed this series of videos to help kids in classrooms everywhere understand the craft of writing, to help them learn to love storytelling, and to become better writers. So whatever you do, be sure to stay tuned until the end of this video for a hands-on exercise you can use to get a better grasp of the topic we're talking about today. What is that topic? I'm so glad you asked. Today we're going to take a look at character development. Hold on a second, that's actually not fully developed. Let me see if I can fix that. Come on, little words, you can do it. Come on. There we go. Much, much better. Character development. So what is character development, and why is it one of the most important things you need to know about as a writer? Keep watching and you'll get some answers. Having fully developed, believable characters is an incredibly important part of writing fiction. In fact, I personally would say it's the most important part. Why? Because without good characters, you just can't create a story anyone's going to want to read. A story without well-developed characters is a bit like, well, it's a bit like riding a bike made out of air. Whee! You see, there's just nothing to keep your story moving forward. So, how do you create strong characters? Well, let's take a look. Now, there's something you need to know. No matter how experienced you are as an author, as a writer, when you first set out to create a character, it doesn't just appear fully formed out of thin air. It just, it's not like it's going to suddenly... Wait a minute. What? Oh, it's a character. But you have to trust me here. This doesn't happen. A character doesn't just fall from the sky into your hands. Instead, what a character actually looks like when you first set out to write one, it's a lot more like this than like this. It is a bit of a lump. It's, it looks a little bit like a head, maybe. It's kind of the general shape, but it's not fully formed by any stretch of the imagination. And that means if we're going to create a character that people are actually going to care about, we're going to need to do some work. So how do we get from this to something that looks a little more like this, for example? Well, we need to shape our characters. And let me show you what that is going to look like. Now, obviously, when we create a character for a story we're writing, we're not working with clay, we're working with words. But believe it or not, the process is really similar. Getting from a lump to a face is similar to getting from a vague idea of a character to a fully fleshed out, believable character. Now, you might have noticed that when I was sculpting this guy right here, I was using some tools, just very simple tools, and they really helped. They helped me get in there and make some features that were believable, that were the right shape. Now, when you're writing, you don't have tools like this, but the good news is there is a tool that I'm going to share with you that can help you shape your characters. Doesn't look anything like the tools I was just holding. It's more like this. This is my character development worksheet. It's really helpful when you're writing. If you take time to think about the questions that it asks, you're going to find that you suddenly go from having a lump, a poorly shaped character to one that is much better shaped, and you're going to have a much better idea of who that character really is. And you'll want to use this pretty much for all the characters in your story, whether they're big characters or small characters. Now, you can download this worksheet right from the For Educators section of my website at robvlock.com, and it's completely free for students and teachers to use. So go ahead and do that. I'll wait. I won't wait. I'm going to keep going. But download it when you have a chance, because it asks all kinds of questions about your characters that you're going to find are really helpful. Now, some of those questions are really obvious, like these. What's your character's name? Do they have a nickname? What species are they? In other words, are they human? Or if you're writing a fantasy story, are they not human? Are they an animal? Are they a different type of creature? Are they a boy or a girl? How old are they? What do they look like? What do they do for a job? And what kind of skills and talents do they have? Those are the things that you can kind of see in your character. But what's more important is what makes your character unique. The things you can't see. Because no matter what your character looks like, she or he needs to have some characteristics you can't see in order to make her or him real and likable and someone that you'd want to read about. So here you can see I have a section called What Makes Your Character Unique? And here you can describe personality traits, what your character loves, what your character hates, something that happened in their childhood even before the story begins, and what kind of events make your character who she or he is. So those are really important. You can't see them physically, but they are going to shape your character just as much as their physical appearance. Now, the most important section on this worksheet is right there at the bottom. What drives your character? Now, this is two questions. They look pretty simple. They can be a little tricky. They are, what does your character want? So this is the main thing that drives your character forward. It's the goal your character wants to achieve in your story. And the other question is the flip side of that. What's stopping your character from getting what she or he wants? And those two questions together are incredibly important. If you don't answer those questions, you'll never be able to create a story that has any momentum. It'll be just like riding a bike made out of air. Let's take a look at that again. What you'll see in some of my later videos is that what a character wants and what's stopping her or him from getting what she or he wants is so important, because that's what creates conflict, and conflict is what keeps your story interesting. And I will be doing a video on conflict at a later date, but for now, just know that you need to have a character wanting something and not being able to get it to make your story interesting. If you didn't, you'd have a character that wanted something, and then they would get it, and there would be no story. It wouldn't be interesting. So you really need to focus on what your character wants and why she or he can't get it. Now that we've taken a look at that character development worksheet, it's time for you to use it to create some characters of your own. So get your pencils ready. Here's today's exercise. Use the character development worksheet from robvlock.com to create two characters, a protagonist, also known as a good guy, and an antagonist, or a bad guy, who want totally opposite things. Let me give you an example of that from Sven Carter and the Trash Mouth Effect, my first book. Our protagonist, the good guy, Sven, really wants to stop himself from hurting anybody. He's a good kid. He doesn't want to carry out the mission he's programmed to do, which is to wipe out humanity. The antagonist, this is the guy that Sven is going to be fighting against in this story, Dr. Shalix. He's our antagonist, really bad guy. He's dead set on using Sven to wipe out every human on Earth. So right away, you can see what Sven wants and what Dr. Shalix wants makes them butt heads. Sven wants to go this way, Dr. Shalix wants to go that way, and boom, you're going to get some conflict. So take some time, fill out those worksheets, make 2 characters that are going to be in conflict with one another based on what they want. So what's the big idea about character development? It's basically just this. A well-developed character is the foundation on which your whole story will be built. So take your time and make some great characters. Well, that's about it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed talking about character development. I'll see you again soon, but in the meantime, keep reading, keep writing, and make sure you always keep it fun. Hey, what do you guys think about that video? Did I do a good job?
Yeah, it was great. Nah, that really stank, Rob. Bleh.